Radio, TuneIn Radio, of course, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, and if you're watching on YouTube, I think I got to all of them. And then even EdmontonSportsTalk.com audio player. Hit us up in the text line 780-218-9999. Of course, get into the nasty chat as well. Of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Oilers 32-15-3, Red Wings 24-21-5, playing really good under Todd McLellan since he took over for Derek Lalonde. He is 11-4-1 behind the Red Wings bench, and I guess kind of a homecoming for McLellan in Detroit, because that's where he won a Stanley Cup as an assistant coach with Mike Babcock in 2008. And then, of course, a bit of a homecoming as well for him, Cam Talbot, and those guys after the years they spent here in Edmonton. It all peaked in 2017 when they went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, lost in Game 7 to Anaheim, and then the team was subsequently dismantled by Peter Chiarelli. McLellan, I don't know. I think, I've heard rumblings this might be his last head coaching gig. Maybe he wants to step away from the game. He is a guy who's been around for a long time, made a lot of money, has been very successful, would love to be the head coach of a Stanley Cup winning team. In his way tonight, Chris Knobloch and the Edmonton Oilers, who have been playing very well of late. Both teams riding winning streaks heading into this one. The Wings have won 3 in a row. The Oilers have won 3 in a row. Edmonton holding down first place in the Pacific Division. It looks nice. Oil Country loves it. I know that. The Golden Knights right on the Oil and their heels at 67 points. Both teams tied. Edmonton having done so, getting to 67 points in just 50 games. The Golden Knights having played one more game. By the way, the LA Kings, remember them? Remember how everyone was concerned about them? I think people are still concerned about them. The Kings at 58 points through 48 games and have dropped 2 in a row, including a game on Monday to these Red Wings. Edmonton hasn't played since Monday as well, beating the Seattle Kraken. And the Oilers continue this 6-game homestand, playing the 5th game of this 6-game homestand. It concludes Saturday evening, 5 o'clock, against Austin Matthews, captain of Team USA, at the Four Nations Face-Off, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. By the way, Connor McDavid named assistant captain for Team Canada alongside Cale Makar, headed up by Sidney Crosby. I don't think anybody has any qualms with that. I think that was the right choice. Sidney Crosby. Crosby's the captain. And, it's okay and noble to think, maybe it was time to turn the page, pass things off to McDavid. Not yet. It's okay. Let Crosby be the captain. He is the guy that these two players, McDavid, probably McKinnon too, obviously, looked up to. And he will be the captain at the Four Nations Face-Off. All right, Hernan, Salas, I know you were doing some technical stuff to start the show. Are you ready to hop in here and give your thoughts? What do you think of the captaincy for Team Canada at the Four Nations Face-Off? Do you like Crosby being the captain? Do you like, I keep wanting to say McKinnon, but it's Makar and McDavid.
Yeah, it's fine with me. For me, that stuff, I understand it's important, but I don't really look too much into it. I'm not surprised by Crosby or McDavid. Makar, not so much. Was there really a wrong answer here, Tom?
Well, in some people, in their opinion, probably, but I think this is fine. Crosby is Mr. Canada, has been for 2 decades.
Yeah,
completely earned that right.
Because I think some people were surprised maybe it wasn't McKinnon or
I keep slipping and saying McKinnon, thinking he has to be one of the alternates.
Yeah. A Stone, for example, because he's older. I'm okay with it. I you got the best defenseman in the game as one of your alternates. You got the best player in the world as one of your alternates. and a guy that's a Hall of Famer, Stanley Cup champ, going to go down as one of the best ever in Sidney Crosby. I don't see why anyone would be upset with that.
Let us know your thoughts. 780-218-9999. Let me get to this one by T. Willison. I'm kind of laughing. T. Willison in the nasty chat says, howdy all. Tommy seems a slight bit off tonight. Did he dip into the gummies? No, I did not. I will tell you this. Tommy's a little tired. After the Oilers and Red Wings morning skate, there was an alumni skate.
Oh.
And I took part. I swear to God, I've got a pinched nerve in my neck because halfway through the game, my left arm started going numb. Not good. Got to go see the doctor or Brian Cheeseman from the Elks, their athletic therapist. And I'm hitting up a Red Bull just to give myself a little
jolt.
A little jolt. So if you're wondering what the hell's wrong with Tom, I do want to apologize to Doug Hicks, former Oiler, and he was out there tonight when we had our alumni skate, and I almost killed him.
Did you pull a Connor Brown on Paul Coffey, Tommy?
I don't know if it was that bad. Hicksy was just fine. He didn't have to get stitched up and have a big bandage on his chin. But I looked at Hicksy. I was like, "Oh no, are you okay, Hicksy?" And he's like, "I'm fine, Tommy. I'm fine." The guy's silky smooth, so he's all good. Speaking of silky smooth, John Klingberg making his Oilers debut. Nanso, what say you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, my expectations are low because if he impresses, then it's a pleasant surprise. I think Reed nailed it on his show when he said he's here to replace Stetcher, not Bouchard. Because for many of our listeners, which we love, they think this is him competing against Bouchard. I don't see it that way. I truly don't. I wish him the best. He's feeling healthy. He said it's the best he's felt in a long, long time. Awesome. Good for him. I couldn't be happier. And now, listen, it's his first game tonight, Tom. I'm not, if he's not very good, I'm not going to be harsh. If he's very good, I'm not going to get overly excited. I think we got to see him in about 8 to 10 games to see what you really have. But good, it's always fun when a new player is going to play his first game for the team you cover, you cheer for, right, Tom? So for me, that part of it is fine. But I'm not expecting Dallas Stars, John Klingberg. If it turns out to be that, awesome, even better for everybody involved. Yeah. But right now, my expectations are low. I hope people don't freak out after one game, regardless of how it goes, good or bad.
They will. Oh, yeah. They will.
And we just gotta take this baby steps. He hasn't played in a long time, Tom. It's been over a year. Yeah, yes. The hips have been fixed, so we'll see what happens, man.
December of 2023, I asked Matthias Ekholm about, how do you ease Klingberg in? What does he bring? And he had a great answer today. By the way, Ekholm, if you're wondering what's wrong with him, super sick. He's not on the darts. Sick. Oh my God. Like I had the mic in the scrum.
Yeah.
And I was like, I better wash my hand.
Yeah.
And I did.
You should.
I was like, nobody was getting close to him. And I look at Rashog and he's got the extender and he's way behind Dave Parker. And I'm like, I can go in. And he's like, oh yeah. And then Matthias starts talking. I'm like, I'm okay. I got to back off. This is not good.
It's no bueno. Hey, Tom, quickly, can I ask you about the quarter century teams? I know every show had debates on it. I want to get your thoughts. I have my thoughts. I said them on EST afternoons, but there's a couple changes I would have made. There's one player I can't believe they omitted. But what are your thoughts? We haven't heard from you today.
Okay, I got the email earlier today. Let's go and double check it. So I have the quarter century team down pat. All right, we're looking at first team: Draisaitl, McDavid, Nuge, Bouchard, Darnell, Rowley. Second team: Hemmer, Horkoff, Smitty, Ekholm, Smith, and Salo. Ekholm to me raises an eyebrow, because he's only been here for 2.5 years. Horkoff, fine. Hemmer for sure. Bouchard, Darnell, okay. Eric Brewer would have been okay on there, I think. At the rink today, some people were saying Chris Pronger should be on there. I disagree with that.
Oh, okay. Because that's the one, I don't know how he's not on there.
I would not put him on there.
Okay. Can I ask why?
This is the quarter century team, right?
Yes.
He played 1 year, right?
That's okay.
Did they win anything that year?
That's the criteria, though, right?
I would not put him on there. As good as he was for 1 year and how things ended with him.
I don't think we can.
To me, no.
I don't think we could look at how things ended because I look at it just of what he did on the ice, and everybody's got their own.
Look at how it ended.
But everybody's got their own opinion to why he left and he did it. But the one thing, and Gager said it today, he goes, he never made it a distraction during the season, though. Like, this came after they lost the Stanley Cup final. Like, he always made it about the team and himself and all that. I think he should be ahead of Nurse 100%.
Nope, I disagree.
I think Ryan Smith should be ahead of Nuge. Hell, I think Hemmer should be ahead of Nuge.
I disagree on Hemsky ahead of Nugent Hopkins. I do agree with Ryan Smith ahead of Nugent Hopkins, to be honest.
See, this is great debate.
Yeah.
I love it. Everybody's got a take, right? And then goaltending, I mean, we talked about Talbot, Tommy.
Talbot's had one really good year.
Mike Smith to a certain extent.
No, to Mike Smith. Tommy Salo was an all-star.
I love Tommy Salo.
In back-to-back seasons. I think he still owns the team franchise shutout record.
Yeah. He's Tommy Salo I have no issues with at all.
Yeah. Rolly was fine.
But that's the thing with Bush.
Rolly played more than 1 year here.
But that's the thing with Bush too, right? Because he had one good year last year. It was outstanding. This year he's kind of taking a step back. I look at Nurse too. I think a lot of it of the people selecting this was they looked at how long they've been here and not looking at how they've played for the team. And that's why
I think longevity matters. Sure. I really do. You know what? Text us, 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat. We'll get into lines. We'll get into game changers. Cass is standing by. Let's bring him in. Let's get him into the mix here. Hello, Cass. There you are.
Hello, here I am.
Here you are. What do you think about the Oilers quarter century team?
Yeah, I would have probably bumped Nuge down and Smitty up. And there's no way Ekholm should be on there. It should be Chris Pronger in the top. And I just heard what you guys talked about, but how can Chris Pronger not be the all-century? He carried you to a game 7 in the Stanley Cup final in 2006, was absolutely dominant, was playing like 35 minutes a night. A Hall of Famer, like, how can he not be on the quarter century? I understand why, is because people are like, feelings he left. But
I think that matters.
No, it shouldn't though, Tom.
He scorned Oilers fans.
The criteria was was not that. Was they just had to play here like a game, right? They had to play here a game and they had to be on the quarter century team. And he was by far and away the best defenseman the entire time. The entire time.
Can I ask you guys something? Cass, Tommy, since Chris Pronger, who's been the best defenseman on this team? And there's a lot to choose. Well, there's not a lot to choose, but there's been a lot of defensemen.
Not a lot.
Is it Matthias Ekholm?
Yes.
Could be. Yep. I would wager that if he wasn't injured, we may be saying Oscar Klefbom.
Yes, good one. Yeah.
Larson was really good.
Larson was really good too. Yeah. But I wouldn't be uncomfortable with someone saying Ekholm at this point. I would not uncomfortable with it, but I can't not have Chris Pronger in that, knowing that he played for the Oilers. I can't.
I have no qualms with him not being on that list at all.
Yeah, whatever, Tom.
780-218-9999. This creates a great debate, and that's the fun part about all of this. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, Hernan, Salas with you on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Oilers and Wings, the return of Todd McLellan behind the Wings bench in Edmonton. And the Oilers are going to spoil that party. Cam Talbot with him as well. Let's get to starting lineups brought to you by South Fort Chev. Reserve your 2025 Equinox tracks and Traverse now. They won't last long. They've also got the best discounts on 2025 Silverados, and they won't be beat. See dealer for details, www.southfortchev.com. For the Oil tonight, McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Brown, even though he almost killed Paul Coffey. Leon Draisaitl with Vasily Podkolzin and Victor Arvidsson. Adam Henrique between Jeff Skinner and Zach Hyman. Noah Philp between Matthias Janmark and Corey Perry. On defense for the Oilers, Ekholm with Bouchard. Nurse with Klingberg. Kulak with Everson, and then no Kapanen, no Stetcher for the Oil. As for the Red Wings, this is what we're anticipating tonight. Dylan Larkin centering Marco Kasper and Lucas Raymond. Andrew Kopp between Alex DeBrincat and Vladimir Tarasenko. Michael Rasmussen with Elmer Soderblom and Christian Fischer. Joel Veleno with Tyler Mott and Jonathan Berggren. On defense for the Wings, Ben Sherratt with Mo Seider. Simon Edvinsson with Albert Johansson. Eric Gustafsson, former Oiler draft pick. And Justin Hall. No Dominic Shine. Unless there's a change, we will let you know. That's what we're anticipating from the Wings. In between the pipes tonight, this is the new daddy, second time over. Stuart Skinner, the 26-year-old, is 19-11-3, 269 GAA, 902 save percentage with 2 shutouts in 33 games this season. Skinner versus the Wings, a 1-1 record, 355 goals against average, 908 save percentage in 2 appearances versus Detroit. And then at the other end of the rink, 37-year-old Cam Talbot expected to get the start. 14-10-2 on the year, 286 GAA, 907 save percentage with 2 shutouts in 28 games this season. Cameron Talbotsky is 4-2-2 with the 205 goals against average, 934 save percentage, and 1 shutout in 9 games against Edmonton over the course of his career. Cass, anything really quickly on the Red Wings or Oilers lineup tonight?
No, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to it in a minute here. I think with some of the game changes, we'll unpack it a little bit. Of note that didn't really make it into game changers, but yeah, the switch of Jeff Skinner coming back into the lineup, getting a look with Henrique and Hyman could be interesting. They haven't played a ton of minutes together. Maybe a little bit of an opportunity for our boy Jeff Skinner to have an impact with some players that can put the puck in the net and play hockey. I mean, you have 2 guys. Hyman in particular generally plays in the top 6. Henrique not as often anymore, but still has some skill. So I'm a little bit intrigued by that grouping.
Cass, can you put up your mic a bit, please?
You got her?
Tell you what I'll do. I'll turn up the gain if we're.
There we go.
Yeah,
that's way better.
Yeah, we were was recording, helping my wife record some stuff, and it was picking up the furnace, so I dropped the gain down. But hopefully that's better.
That sounds good. Reed texted in. He said Ken Cowell on his show told him that it's going to be Alex Lyon tonight, but we saw Talbs at the rink, and who was talking to him? Someone was talking to him. And Hicksey, who I almost killed Cass at the alumni skate today, by the way. And Hicksey thought he was starting. So maybe it's not Cam Talbot, maybe it's Alex Lyon. If that is the case, here is Lyon's record. 8-6-1 this season, 268 goals against average, 901 save percentage, 1 shutout in 19 games. The 32-year-old versus the Oilers, 0-1-1, 533 GAA, 868 save percentage. We will confirm when the teams hit the ice for warm-up. That brings us to the Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy Injury Report. At Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro using the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game. For the Oilers, Alec Regula, IR knee, Evander Kane, LTIR abdominal surgery and knee surgery. Cassie posted a video on his socials that he skated yesterday, and you can also join his exclusive club for a small nominal fee. And I'm sure it comes with all kinds of wonderful content, like him skating for the first time during injury recovery. Isn't that great?
Sign me up. Great. I mean, hey, great he's skating. Good he's skating. Yep. Looking to make a recovery. That's great. I probably won't be joining the club, but that's me. You can't.
That makes 2 of us. Nanso, did you sign up already?
You know it.
Yeah,
He
right.
signed up 3 times. Yeah, 3 different emails. So.
Oh, wow. Get that Kane content. As for the wings, JT Comfort, day-to-day undisclosed. Patrick Kane, IR upper body. Jeff Petrie, IR undisclosed. Comfort, Kane, Petrie. So 3 good veterans, Cass. How much of an effect can that have on the Red Wings lineup?
It can have an effect. And I think a big part of it is some of those guys are skilled players. With that being said, this Red Wings team has been playing quite well recently. Like, they have started to turn around since McClellan came in, and they've been winning some hockey games. So could it have an effect? Yeah, I think so. But I think this is a group in the Detroit Red Wings coming off of 3 straight wins here that feels pretty good about themselves. So I'd love to tell you that it's going to have a major impact on them. But Tom, I don't think it is right now. This is still at its core a fairly young team. Yep. And yes, you might miss out a little bit, especially going up against a pretty veteran Oilers team, because that veteran presence can calm you down a little bit. They've played really good teams and really good players before. But I think these guys are rolling and feeling pretty good, so I don't think it impacts them that much.
They've won 3 in a row. The last 10, 6-3-1. The Oilers, meanwhile, have also won 3 in a row, 7-3. In the last 10. All right, let's get into Game Changers now, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Cass, numero uno, Klingberg's hips.
We'll see if his hips lie or do they not lie. I'm trying to have tempered expectations. And I know there's some people that do, and there's some people that are just thinking he's going to be as silky smooth as ever. And we don't know, right? We don't know, because we have seen him and saw him in Toronto struggle at times, I would say mightily, pre-surgery. But we have also seen him when he was in Dallas be an extremely mobile, very, very, very good defenseman. And we don't know exactly. Now, it's great to watch clips. It's great to see him skating in practice and to be like, oh, this is good. This looks good. And then that's all well and good and wonderful. Sure. But it's another thing entirely to do it in a game, at game speed, under pressure, with contact, where you're actually truly engaging physically with guys and getting hit and bumping and grinding and doing all the fun things. So for Klingberg, I'm trying to temper expectations. I know they say they're going to try to work him into it. Yes. Which tells me I kind of would peg a target at like 15 minutes. Not over strenuous, not have him out there too much, maybe 15 minutes to 16 minutes on ice today for Klingberg. But hey, this is going to be his first game in over a year. It's going to be our first time to see him actually play a game in the Oilers uniform. And I know everyone is hoping, management included, myself included, that he's an answer. Right? Like that he is an answer for that right side of your defense in a big mobile player. Yes, he's not overly physical. He's not going to run anyone over, but is another guy that hopefully can play some significant minutes there if he can get back up to pace and play at the level that he was, again, not to go to the Toronto time, but back in Dallas, right, when he was at the top of his game. So going to be interesting tonight. Certainly the biggest news heading into this one for the Edmonton Oilers is that he's making his debut, and Tom, it's going to be interesting and exciting to watch him play. He's not the thickest guy. He's tall, but he's kind of gangly, Cass. And he's lanky.
He's lanky, yes. That's a good way to put it. But I think Reed makes a good point, and I'm glad Hernan brought that up earlier in the show, is he's not here to replace Evan Bouchard. No. He's here to basically take over Troy Stetcher's spot. And that's okay, right? I think that's a good reminder for everybody. Yeah. Well, if we go like, okay, we have Klingberg at 95% of what he could do in Dallas. Mm-hmm. That's better than Stetcher. Yes. And I know, because we had it, and we had people messaging in during the pod this afternoon, being like, well, if he has a really good game, you can trade Bouchard. And it's like, no, that isn't going to happen, nor should it happen. No. And no, you don't plan him you don't anticipate on replacing Evan Bouchard on the power play, but it gives you additional options, right? Both on PP number 2, but then on who's going on the ice after the power play is over to try to have a good shed
Like you're not needing him to be an absolute offensive powerhouse here. You're needing him just to be a little bit more consistent, and you want to be able to trust him against other teams' top lines a little bit more than you trust Troy Stecher. And that's not. I don't want to make that seem like it's a knock on Stecher. Stecher most likely is a third pairing defenseman. He's a third pairing defenseman at this point in his career, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's an NHL player. Klingberg has the potential to be a guy that maybe could play a little bit more in your top four, and that's really important for the Edmonton Oilers because on the right side of that ice, they don't have a lot of depth, and if he can solidify that, particularly because you didn't have to give up anything to get him, right? That is massive heading into the trade deadline for the Edmonton Oilers, who are pretty flush with the cap already.
780-218-9999. Share your thoughts. We'll read some of those as we roll along here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. So point number one on Game Changers, Klingberg's hips, says he feels like a kid again. And it's been an issue, I think he said, since he was in his late teens and has had a couple of surgeries before. So we'll see how those new hips or freshly shaved hips hold up tonight. All right, Cass, number two, Boosh Bombs.
I think tonight is the night he gets that power play goal. I got that feeling. I think that first power play goal this season for Evan Bouchard happens tonight. Gager disagrees with me, but I'm like, tonight would be the night. Klingberg coming into the lineup, people all upset. Bouchard knows that people are upset or cares that people are upset, but maybe he does. Maybe he pays attention. Maybe he pulls out the newspaper because he probably still reads one of those and has read about it. But this is more about the power play than Evan Bouchard. I wanted to throw a Bouchard shot in there, but the Detroit Red Wings penalty killing is atrocious. It's atrocious. Hasn't been very good. Hasn't been very consistent. They haven't got goaltending on their penalty kill, and it's really been, if you wanted to pick what has gone wrong for the Detroit Red Wings thus far in the season, that might be culprit number one right there, is their penalty kill has continually let them down. Now, the flip side to that is their power play is very, very good.
Good point.
Very, very good. Now, you do have some guys in the lineup. Will we see it be as deadly? I don't know. But for the Edmonton Oilers power play, I mean, this is really an opportunity to give yourself a +1 here. Because if you draw 3 or 4 calls, chances are against the Detroit Red Wings right now, you're probably going to score. Like their penalty killing just isn't very good. Now that I said that, maybe they don't get a power play goal. Maybe I just screwed everything up. But
why you got to jinx it?
Yeah, I don't believe in that. That's not a real thing. But no. I digress. The Red Wings penalty killing is not very good. The Edmonton Oilers with Evan Bouchard at the point need to have a successful night on the penalty or power play because that really will go a long way. Like again, this is a scrappy Detroit team. It's a pretty fast Detroit team. We'll talk about that top line in a second here of the Detroit Red Wings. But for the Edmonton Oilers, your power play's got to be clutch tonight. This is one where you want to see your PP win it for you.
A number that Oiler fans were frustrated with and disappointed, obviously, earlier in the season. And this is what the Wings power play is at right now, 69.6%, good for 31st in the NHL. There was a chunk of time early in the season where the Oilers were in that 30 to 32 range. The Oilers dipped as low as 59% a few weeks into the year, and the Wings are there more than halfway through the year at 69.6%, 31st overall in the league. 2 shorties scored. But like you said, Cass, 4th on the power play in the National Hockey League, 27.8%. Edmonton has risen on the power play to 24.4%. That's good for 7th. And then the PK has also risen, but in a much more modest way. Now 21st at 77.4%. So there is your refresher on special teams. And like Cass outlined, Red Wings, no bueno on the PK. Very good on the power play. Nancito, you want to jump in on anything? That's a no. That's definitely a no. All right, let's go to point number 3. Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting now at the agency. Top line speed, Cass.
Yeah, that top line of the Red Wings, they attack, and they attack with a lot of speed. They've had a lot of success recently as well, and that line being Marco Kasper, Dylan Larkin, and Lucas Raymond. There's some speedy players. Larkin, I don't want to say he's the most underrated player in the league, because I wouldn't say I don't think that's a fair comment to say he's the most underrated, but he's a really good player still. And he's got a lot of support this year. Raymond has looked fantastic. He's leading the Red Wings right now with 56 points on the year. And that group is, they're feeling it right now. They've had some success recently, all three of them. And for the Edmonton Oilers, you're going to have to, particularly the defense. So we're looking at Klingberg, we're looking at Bouchard, are going to have to deal with some of that speed. Now you get the matchups. It most likely, well, we'll have to see actually which pairing ends up going against that group regularly, but you are going to want to, from a forward standpoint, try to do what you can to slow them down. This is a group that really likes to generate a lot through the neutral zone. They do like to score off the rush. It's not just an in-zone type of group, but a group that can beat you, and they can beat you with their speed. They are a quick group. They have a little bit of a explosive power as well that I think, not a lot of people see all the time. And for the Detroit Red Wings, they have been absolutely money the last little bit, particularly in these 3 games in a row that they've won. Edmonton Oilers, got to find a way to slow them down.
I like it, Cass. I like it a lot. 780-218-9999. How about this one? I want to throw it at you, Cass, because you have 3 of these. I have 0. Nanso has 0. Spruce Grove Corey saying, I'm expecting a big game from Stu after a fresh bebe. Is there a jolt? Is there a extra motivator in there? Like, what is this experience of having a new life come into your world like while you're playing?
Yeah, it could go either way.
Okay.
It could go either way. Depends on the sleep. How much did Stuart Skinner get to sleep? And they probably let him sleep last night. So right. He should be fine. Listen, it's a beautiful, exciting, wonderful thing. Happy that apparently baby and mama and Chloe are doing okay, which is what you want. That's a great thing. Could there be an adrenaline jolt? For sure there could. Could there be a little bit of a sag because he's exhausted? For sure there could. So we really don't know. Different guys and different people, different players, different families. You're just going to react to it differently. And I guess we'll see here coming up in not too long. What is Stuart Skinner's energy level? I don't know.
We'll find out tonight. Skinner returns to the Oilers crease. Very cool for Tyler Palmer on Monday, getting the ATO contract, backing up Calvin Pickard. Pickard played really good in that win over Seattle. A good news story all around, and you always see a little bit of Golden Bears representation in the Oilers lineup, and then it got a little boost on Monday, which is nice because it's a great program and those games are awesome to go and check out. So if you haven't been, highly recommend it. Claire Drake Arena, super unique, but both goaltenders good to go for tonight. Stu Skinner getting the nod after the birth of his second baby boy. All right, Nanso, are you back? Are you good?
I'm back, buddy.
Oh, he's back.
Sorry.
He's back. Did you want to add anything? What were you doing? Ordering pizza?
No, I was just dealing with something real quick there, and you guys are having such a good conversation, and I kind of freaked out. I like froze on the phone too. They're like, hello. Hi. I don't know what to say. No, I just like Cass brought up the hips of Darnell Nurse. I was gonna say John Klingberg. And then you brought up the Skinner stuff, and we were joking with Gager that if the Oilers lose this game, who's getting blamed, right?
The baby.
Yep.
Not Stu, the baby.
Yeah. No, I think Stu will be fine. I think he's going to be fantastic tonight. Looking forward to this game. We talked to our Detroit guy. Sorry if I'm going off a bit here. About for people watching tonight, like Mo Sider, guys. This guy in his first 3 years hasn't missed a game. This year, he hasn't missed a game. He's probably going to go 4 years. Like, the durability of this guy. Now, the points are kind of... I think the points are not where we want him to be. He's going to be a 40 to 60 point defenseman.
It's pretty good still.
Yeah, but he doesn't score a lot. But when he plays in... the guest we had on today, Max Bolton, he said, he plays every situation, guys. He'll be out there against Connor. He'll be out there PK1. Power play one. Like, this guy's an absolute stud. And someone was asking, would you trade Bouchard for Sider? And of course we all said yes, but I'm like, why would Detroit do that?
Right.
They won't. No. No. Not a chance. No. Not a chance. He is spectacular. He's not like a Quinn Hughes level, where he's that kind of a difference maker, but he's He's incredible. He's an incredible defenseman. Really good.
All right, we got a couple of texts. Cass, you're cool to stick around for a couple more minutes?
Yeah.
All right. Some good discussion about the quarter century team. I know people are excited about tonight's game, all of that, and we'll definitely get back to the game. But the quarter century team, Collingwood Rob says the sad part about the quarter century Oiler team is that Doug Weight would not be on this team, and he won't be on the previous quarter century team, 75 to 99. That is a shame. Collingwood Rob. Nacho Man saying, doesn't Doug Weight count? The answer is no. Doug Weight played the last year he played in orange and blue, and back then it was copper and blue, 2000, 2001. But
well, he would count technically.
Right,
like
but he wasn't
Yeah,
he wasn't at his best at that point. Right, like if you had an all 90s team,
wow,
Doug Weight would be on it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Before McDavid hit 100 points in 16-17, the last guy to do it for the Oilers was Doug Weight in like 95, 96. He was great. Like Bill Guerin was great. Ryan Smith is on the quarter century team, deservedly so. Anson Carter had a few really good years. Good years.
Igor
here.
Ulanov would be on the quarter.
Igor Ulanov, if it just beauty lister alone.
How about the handsome Surrey?
Sheldon, I don't know. See,
Surrey,
there's another one where he had that one All-Star season, guys, and that's why I don't like the 1 year and the Pronger thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Pronger is one of the best defensemen of all time, and he was absolutely phenomenal for the Oilers in 05-06, but it was 1 year. Same with Surrey. Surrey was an All-Star that 1 year. Surrey was a machine on the power play, and then things went sour between him and the organization, and you know, everybody's left with a bad taste in their mouth. I think that kind of stuff, you know, if it's not supposed to be part of the criteria, I still think it creeps in somehow with the voters.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
It absolutely does. Even if it's not the criteria, they're still you have your biases with that type of thing, and they're going to be there regardless of if you're told not to have it or not.
like Uncle Jesse says, Nuge is in because there's years that he was the best defender. Like Nugent Hopkins is going to be the all-time leader in games played as an Oiler in about a year or two. Kevin Lowe has that record right now at 1,037 games played, regular season granted, but Nugent Hopkins is climbing that list. And then, you know what, maybe McDavid and Draisaitl, if they stay healthy and ride out their contracts, their next one, well, McDavid still needs to sign his, maybe they pass him. But I think Nugent Hopkins, 100-point season, he's been here through thick and thin. I get it with him.
Guys,
I do too.
What about a guy like Steve Staios?
What do you think, Cass?
Yeah, I mean, he's got other guys he's got to cross, right? Like, as far as a player, I loved him as a player. You know, could you put him in front? Like, because you start throwing that out there, you got to start going to like a Yanni Niinema too, who is actually a really good defenseman as well.
Yes,
Excellent.
Would be another one.
Does Brewer get overlooked here?
I think a little bit. And he was one of the ones that I had mentioned when I was trying to figure out, because Dusty asked me and I had to try to guess everybody was on there. And he was one of my defensemen where I was like, oh, I could see Brewer making that, because he could be on there too, potentially. Yeah.
Troll brings up a good point. I'm going to read this really quickly. Troll says, TG, by your logic, then Bush shouldn't be on that team. Only one good season so far. Clefbaum is better than him, and Nurse, he got screwed. You know what, Troll? That's a fair point. And I kind of, when I saw Bouchard on there, I was like, okay, because it was like the best offensive season by an Oilers defenseman not named Paul Coffey.
Yeah.
Ever. So that part of it, I'd even throw Larson in there. You know, Jason Smith is on there. He was a captain. He was the longest tenured captain for a period of time in Oilers history. It creates a great debate. And then it also, I think it tells you how much disparity and lack of solid D-men this organization has had in the last quarter century.
There haven't been huge standouts where it's like one guy, right? One guy. Like, yeah, well, you had one guy, but you only had him for a season. His name was Chris Pronger. He should be on the list.
Yes. Keep those coming in 780-218-9999. Cass, any final thoughts going into this one? Oilers and Red Wings closing out the season series.
Nope. Hey, big opportunity. You got a team with a lot of momentum and that's trying to claw their way and hold on to and get into and stay into a wild card spot. That's been playing some pretty good hockey. For the Edmonton Oilers, you can't take your foot off the gas. This is a scrappy team. As you mentioned, they're missing some veteran guys, but they're still going to come at you. McClellan hasn't playing well. The guys are going to want to play for him, knowing that he coached in Edmonton. So it's going to be, I think, a good and challenging game for the Edmonton Oilers tonight.
Cass, really quickly, and I apologize, but Todd McClellan coming in, taking over, the difference that makes when you get a guy that has that direction and can steer the ship back in the right direction.
Yeah, well, you never know how much is that and how much is just the shock to the players, the system. I mean, we've seen that in Edmonton where you had a coach that had a lot of success and new coach comes in and all of a sudden you turn it around. And that seems to be the case in Detroit. Now you have brought in McClellan, a veteran coach that has been around for a while. That has had some success at the NHL level. Mm-hmm. And depending on what the situation was behind the bench and in the dressing room from a composure standpoint, from a messaging standpoint, well, maybe he cleaned it up a little bit. And that can bring you some juice. I mean, it's a new opportunity for players as well that aren't playing well, that feel they're either pigeonholed or they're stuck. Or not getting an opportunity to have a fresh start in a lot of ways. So it can really help a room. And it seems to in the short term, at least thus far for the Detroit Red Wings.
Cass, excellent work as always, my friend. Yes, did you want anything with Cass?
Hey, did you guys, we're getting lineups from the rink?
Lions starting in net for the Red Wings. That's all I was going to add. What do you got?
Ekholm paired with Klingberg in warm-ups. Nurse with
you want to hit on that quickly?
Is Bouchard on the ice?
Bouchard's with Nurse.
Yeah, I mean, okay. They said Klingberg's going to play with a bunch of different people.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
Whatever.
Cass doesn't care. Get him out of here.
Yeah,
go, Cass.
I don't care.
Go.
I don't care.
It's great work as always. Catch you on the post-game show. There's our game analyst, Matt Kassian, with Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting now with the agency. All right, 10 games on the schedule. I want to pass along this one because it is of note. Looking at the Pacific Division, the Kings are in Tampa right now. The Lightning lead it 1-0 after 2. Winnipeg leads Boston 2-1. And then I'm looking to see Calgary and Anaheim get going at the Saddle Dome right away. You got Vegas hosting Columbus, and then San Jose and Seattle wrap up the night with the late game. 8:30 start, our time there. Nancito, did you want to add anything? And we've had some really good texts come in. This quarter century team has created a lot of great discussion.
Oh, I love it. And just to touch on that LA game, Mikey Anderson left the game, has not returned, and will not return. So another blow to the LA Kings there. And we got pairings, right? So Nurses with Bouchard, Ekholm with Klingberg. But like Coach said earlier today, he's going to play with a bunch of different players. So let's not read too much into it, but it is interesting. And the Oilers just sent out their lines. They have Nurse with Klingberg, Ekholm with Bouchard. So kind of the shades of a couple of weeks ago when we had the 3 different lineups. So take it with a grain of salt. He's going to play with Nurse and Ekholm. Let's just leave it at that. And Kulak, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Like, listen, when we were doing the scrum with Chris Knobloch, he's like, we're gonna rotate him in with a couple of different guys. He's not gonna have a set partner. Like they're easing him in. They said don't expect him to play 20-25 minutes. So take these with a grain of salt, I suppose. But we're gonna see John Klingberg make his debut. We'll see how he does. He says he feels great. He's looked good on the ice in practice, but it's one thing, and I always not get a kick out of it, Hernan, but like people like during training camp or when the team's been off and they come out of a break and you're like, okay, so this is what happened on the ice. Here's what happened at practice. People go, how did so-and-so look? How did so-and-so look? 95% of the time, they all look great because it's a practice. And Klingberg looked great. How was he moving? Very smooth. I thought he was great. But there's no contact, there's no pressure, there's no sudden jolting movements, not the same way as in games. So that's the ultimate test, and we hear it time and time again, and we'll see how he handles that for the first time in a year and a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited. Number 36.
Yes, Philip
Tommy,
Larson.
last player to wear 36.
Oh, we went over this. UC Jokinen?
Jack Campbell.
All right, Jack Campbell. How quickly
Good grab on UC Jokinen. Was he 36?
I loved talking to UC Jokinen. He was great. He's just a crudgy old Finnish guy.
Yeah. He wore it. I think Philip Larson wore it one year.
Yes. Sean Horkoff way back in the day.
Yeah, when he was a rookie. Did Dick Tarnstrom wear it in his 1 year here?
Didn't he wear like 23?
23, yeah. I'm way off on that.
And they got him out of Pittsburgh, and he was really good with the Pens.
Jared Stoll wore it too in his early days.
Yeah. Remember Daniel Sharnquist? Oh, now we're remembering like really old obscure.
I actually liked him, but that goes to show you my hockey knowledge. But yeah, he was. What year was that? They were really bad that year.
Oh yeah, I think it was 06, 07. Remember, it just didn't go well that year. That was the year after the Ryan Smith trade. It was going okay, and then after the trade, it just sewered their season. So
damn you, Tommy, you're making me Google him now.
I'm sorry. Daniel
Sharnquist.
It started with a T, I think.
Yes, here he is. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, he played 06, 07, good memory. 37 games, 15 points. A +3, actually. That wasn't too bad, Tommy.
Not too bad.
On those teams.
Right.
If you're a plus player, that was bonus, man.
Well, that team was good for the majority of the season, and then things fell off the map. And then 07, 08, they had a rough start to the year, and then they had a good run late, a little push, came up short. That was the kid line of Robert Nielsen, Cogliano, Sam Gagner providing a spark. And then the next year, they had Eric Cole on the team, Dustin Penner, Rolison was the starter. They actually were in 6th till like 20 games left in the season, and then they fell off a map again.
Was Glenn Cross on that team?
Glenn Cross was there 07, 08. I knew that. I can't remember what year he got traded.
Because I remember they were close.
Left.
They were close to the playoff cut, and they just couldn't get it over. And I was looking at Dwayne Rolison's stats with the Oilers today, Tom, because he made one of these teams, and he was pretty good on some bad teams.
He was.
His save percentage was over 9 all 4 years after the cup run.
A lot of people like that. For good reason. Awesome guy to deal with, too. Very much enjoyed his time as an Oiler. And he always likes it when he comes
was here
back.
last year, right, for the finals?
Yeah. He popped in earlier this season, too, kind of like under the radar, just like how Grant Fuhr did the other day. Grant was here. I think his daughter had a kid. Something along those lines. And Grant just kind of slid in and out. And I think Rolly does that from time to time as well. Okay. If you want to text us, sneak it in. We've got 5 minutes left. Lineup for tonight. McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Brown. Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Henrique with Skinner and Hyman. Philp between Janmark and Perry. On defense, keep in mind Klingberg will be rotating with partners.
Yes.
They have Nurse with Klingberg on the Oilers account. Ekholm with Bouchard. Kulak with Emerson. Stu Skinner is your starting netminder. The Red Wings we'll go with Alex Lyon in goal. And then the Wings lineup for tonight. Here it is. It is going to be Dylan Larkin between Marco Kasper and Lucas Raymond. Andrew Kopp with Alex DeBrincat and Vladimir Tarasenko. If he's good to go, he was questionable this morning. Michael Rasmussen with Elmer Soderblom and Christian Fischer. Joel Veleno with Tyler Mott and Jonathan Berggren. Ben Sherratt with Mo Seider. Simon Edvidson with Albert Johansson. Eric Gustafson with Justin Hall. I'm looking to see if there are any tweaks to the Red Wings lineup. Have you seen anything, Hernan?
No, nothing yet. I've been scrolling Twitter and I can't find anything right now.
Yeah. All right. What say you? 780-218-9999. I want to get into this. Andrea chiming in. Says, great show, Tommy, Hernan, and Cass. Thank you, Andrea. Troll says, Oilers really missed Stoll and Matt Green. That was such a bad trade. Yep. Troll also adds, Klingberg with Ekholm would make sense to me. Put your best D-man with the guy who's trying to get up to game speed. Both Swedish, too. Nurse is playing great this year. Needs a puck mover beside him. He should be able to cover for Bouchard's mistakes. Wow. Last year, we wouldn't be saying that about Stu. Or pardon me, Darnell.
Darnell.
I'm looking at all these texts. I'm reading them. Oh, man. Hernan, really quickly,
ahead.
what do you got? No, you go.
I was just going to say, that's why with Darnell Nurse on these quarter century teams, like, he's been great, Tom, but he hasn't played to this level since the All-Canadian division. Like, he's been really up and down. But and when we're looking at it, right, we have to look at the whole career. But last year, like, and listen, this is not to put down Darnell Nurse. I think he's been fantastic this year. But he had one of the worst seasons as in his career, and he had one of the worst playoffs for a defenseman in the history of the game.
Yes, good reminder.
So that's why I'm kind of like I feel like they're just going, oh, he's been here forever. He's part of the core. Let's just put him on the team. Do you know? Like, I love that I didn't even think of Eric Brewer until the pregame show, Tom. And I think that's a great one. He was so underrated here, man.
Yep. Olympic gold medalist, won the World Cup in 2004 with Canada. I think he played for the 2006 Olympic team, although that one didn't do well at all in Torino. Was traded for Chris Pronger. He was a huge part of that trade. So I don't know that he played until 2005. I think he came to Edmonton in 99, played there till 2005. Obviously the 2004-2005 season didn't happen. And was really good and carved out a really nice long career. And I thought he was an effective, steady D-man here. So maybe we forget about Eric Brewer a little bit. Hernan, really quickly. I put out a thing about what the Oilers' new third jerseys next year. We'll talk about it a little bit. I'm going to bring it up with Dusty. So we got to talk about it tomorrow on the Oil Stream.
Okay.
In the afternoon. But a lot of people saying, hey, bring back this jersey, bring back that jersey. They're not bringing back any jerseys. And the copper is Gonzo Alonso. And the oil rig guy, no more. They're not doing any of that. And then people are even saying, bring back McFarland. No, they're not doing any of that. I'll get into a little bit more.
So you tweeted
tomorrow.
Not happening. Next year's third jersey will create a buzz, though. So, like, what I gathered from that, it's going to be brand new look. And that kind of excites me. Like, we got to stop going back to the same and the same and the same. Do you know what I mean? As much as I love the McFarland design, I do.
They used it twice.
Yeah, I know. So move on. Let's find something more fresh, more creative, and I'm excited. And you always have a beat on the new jerseys for the Edmonton Oilers, so I am excited to hear what you have to say tomorrow with Dusty. But I'm glad they're not going back to the old well again. No,
they're not. I've seen it. I liked it, and I know it's going to piss some people off, and I know some people are going to fall in love with it. Guess what?
Yeah, make everybody
people are
happy,
just going to buy. No, you can't make everybody happy, and people will buy that thing like crazy because that's what new stuff does to people.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to tease with that. Dusty and I will talk about it on the Oil Stream tomorrow. We've got the Hanson Man draft tomorrow. I have tasked someone else to build my list because I don't really know who to pick.
Or is it like a secret person you're working with here?
Someone who actually looks at men and goes, "Oh, he's good looking. He's good looking." Okay. She has a better opinion than I do.
Okay.
So I'll work off of her list. Let's just go with that. Natso, great stuff as always. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. We'll catch up with you after the Oilers and the Wings. One of these teams, the 4-game winning streak. Will it be the Oil? Will it be the Wings? Time will tell. For Matt Kassian and Hernan Salas, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See you after the game.